Well, it looks like Santa came early this year. Samurai Jack. Video games. Samurai Jack. Video games. Just take the whole thing. They come together more often than you think, and the latest video game outing of our boy Samurai Jack was 2020's Samurai Jack Battle Through Time, a hack-and-slash adventure game that takes place during the series finale of the show. It specifically details the events that occur between Jack and Ashi entering the time portal and when they emerge from it into the past. It shows us that through this portal ride, Jack kinda got tossed around to different timestamps in his previous journey and quite literally had to battle his way through time to finally get back to the past. The best part being that it's all officially canon to the show itself. At least I think it is. But this game that I've sunk hours of my time into is not actually the sole focus of this video. Rather, we will be focusing on something else.
What do you think?
Whoa, very nice.
It's very cool, Bateman, but that's nothing. What do you think?
Nice.
But wait, you ain't seen nothing yet. White.
Impressive. Very nice. Let's see Paul Allen's. Oh my God.
That's right, today we will be taking a look at the collector's edition of this fine game. An edition that I have quite the history with. You see, Samurai Jack Battle Through Time is primarily a digital game. It was seemingly planned to be a digital exclusive, only being available on Steam, eShop platforms across various consoles, and the Apple App Store for some reason. That's gotta be one hell of a way to experience this game. Man, I just can't decide which pixel to look at. But right as this game seemed doomed to the depths of digital storefronts, a savior emerged from the heavens, a company known as Limited Run Games. They often swoop in to produce physical editions of digital-only games. And I honestly gotta hand it to them. They do some incredible, creative, and downright badass stuff over there. And the absolute most badass thing they ever did was giving my boy Samurai Jack a physical release. But not just that, they also made a goddamn collector's edition as well. Look at this thing. The box, the contents, the tasteful thickness of the font, limited to 2,000 pieces. God, I wanted this thing. Hell, as the self-proclaimed biggest fan of Samurai Jack, I fucking needed this thing. But you can probably imagine how attempting to purchase such a limited item went for me. Yes, that's right, I missed out on this thing when it first dropped. Or more accurately than saying missed out, between video game collectors, fellow Samurai Jack enthusiasts, and filthy scalpers, I didn't have a fucking chance. But I never quite let this thing go. In the years since, I've scoured eBay every once in a while in search of this collector's edition for anywhere even close to retail price. And almost exactly 2 years to the day it was released, I finally found one. Always good to get something off the good old bucket list. Check. The next one might be a bit more challenging though. I've had this thing in my possession for the past couple months, and I've been absolutely dying to crack it open. And I'd absolutely love to share it with you all and give my honest review of its contents. Now, just before we get started, inevitably there are going to be a few people watching that either silently or vocally judge me for opening this limited collector's item and causing the value to plummet from its sealed price. And I honestly only have one thing to say to you. But there's little trinkets in there. Like little doodads and shit. Before we crack open the seal on this bad boy, there is one item included that was not in the box. That being this limited run Samurai Jack trading card featuring Ashi. This seems to be something that Limited Run does pretty often. They include these collectible cards to possibly incentivize collectors to go for every release in order to complete their card collection, or just to throw in a cool extra gift, I guess. I mean, it's pretty cool, I guess. Even if you don't own any of the other cards, there are still a few things you can do with it, I suppose. You can display it, stare at it, put put it in the spokes of your bike. Or you can add it to any standard deck of playing cards to unlock the game 53 card pickup. Overall, despite it being a fun extra item, it doesn't really add all that much and isn't very memorable. 3 out of 10. Now for the moment that I've been waiting 2 years for. It's time to break this goddamn seal. After taking it out of its plastic wrap prison and undressing it from its tight as fuck slipcover, god damn, it was time to open it up and take out the first item, the game itself. Wow. Well, that sure is a game that I already own. Yeah, despite the fact I don't have this specific cover art, I do in fact own this game already. 3 other separate times to be exact. Although the game itself is the same across the different versions I own, the other physical copies I have are both the Best Buy exclusive box art, which is not only not rarer than this version, but also as much as I like this cover with the classic Samurai Jack eyes, it is objectively not as good as the original cover. I mean, come on, look at this. It's so fucking badass. Now, my rating for this item does not reflect the game itself. I've played through this game multiple times, I absolutely love it, it means a lot to me, and I plan on covering it in its own video at a later date. Quite possibly as part of a trilogy of videos discussing all 3 of the main Samurai Jack games. I'm actually low-key really excited to announce that, and I can't wait to get started on that project in the future. But as for my rating of this game solely as an addition to my collection, it's gotta be a 7 out of 10. Not necessarily something I needed, but it's definitely the best copy of this game I own. Next up is the game's soundtrack, and it's on a physical CD. Man, I can't remember the last time I had an actual music CD in my hands. Hell, this might be my first. I gotta hand it to them. This little thing is so damn charming. From the front cover to the wavy text on the back, and don't even get me started on the inside. The disc has a spinning sword on it, for God's sake. And that's not even focusing on the contents of the CD itself. Holy shit, they got sound effects on here? Damn, this goes so freaking hard. Although I have my suspicions that not all the music from the game is on here given just how few songs are present, it is hard to deny that the music included are absolute bangers. So much so that I chose to use a lot of it as background music for this video. I definitely recommend checking out these songs yourself if you enjoyed the game, are a big Samurai Jack fan, or just like video game soundtracks. I honestly did not expect to love this thing as much as I do. I didn't have very high expectations for it, and it blew me away. 9 out of 10. The next thing out of the box are these little postcards. Aw, you shouldn't have. All 3 of which are some pretty beautiful landscapes. I like that they give off the same energy as the hand-painted backgrounds of the original series. I do think that they look nice, especially the one with the iconic tree, but they are really small, so displayability takes a pretty big hit there. Items like these tend to be incredibly hit or miss in my opinion, depending on if you have a use for them, or if they're just doomed to the junk drawer for the rest of eternity. I'll probably try to frame them up all into one frame and make them look nice, but other than that, there's not much else to say. They are collectible postcards after all. 4 out of 10. Speaking of hit or miss items, next up is a poster. And this one does already lose some points given that it's been folded. Maybe it's a pet peeve of mine, but for God's sake, you should always roll posters. Folded posters are always so annoying to make look good in a frame, and don't you fucking tell me that they couldn't fit it in there because they could have very well have made a circular pocket in the corner of the styrofoam to hold it. I'm not crazy, you're crazy. But this is a double-sided poster after all, meaning it's got 2 chances to blow my motherfucking socks off. The first side is a bit of a safe choice. It's just the full cover artwork in the form of a landscape poster. I like it a lot, but I kind of wish they went for something a bit more ambitious or creative. I mean, at least different. And on the other side, yeah, that kind of looks like shit. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the other side of this poster. I've seen this artwork floating around a few times, and I just don't like it. It's not bad by any means. Hell, I love the way Aku's beard engulfs the entire bottom half of the poster. But God, do I hate the way they made Samurai Jack completely white for some reason. And Deku's hands, although a good idea, kind of bother me. Overall, this poster did not live up to my expectations. I can't say it's bad given I'm most definitely going to spend an unreasonable amount of money to get it framed, but I can't in good conscience rate it any higher than a 5 out of 10. It's alright. Okay, now things are heating up. We are going into the belly of the beast for what is by far the two most exciting items in this collector's edition. The first of which being this absolutely badass Samurai Jack sword letter opener. Finally, I can open all these pesky letters they keep cramming in my mailbox. I've been wondering what's in here. Oh, fuck. Overall, I gotta say, this thing is so fucking cool. It's surprisingly extremely well made and well painted. It looks good on a desk or on a shelf, and it's got some sort of functionality that, although a bit of a novelty, doesn't take away from the display ability while also being kinda helpful when you need it. I have to give this a well-deserved 9 out of 10. I absolutely love this thing. The only thing left is, without exaggeration, the most anticipated item here. If any of you purchased this collector's box, I'd wager this item was probably the thing that sold you on it. Yes, it is time to unbox the statue. That's right, you heard me correctly. Your hearing aids are functioning. This comes with a Samurai Jack statue. More specifically, a roughly 7-inch tall Samurai Jack lunging out of the time portal just like he is doing on the cover of the game. It comes in 2 separate pieces, and once it's put together, God is it amazing. I was actually kinda scared shitless to see how Samurai Jack looked here. I was preparing for the worst, to be honest. Sometimes when adapting things like cover art into a physical 3D medium, especially of a character usually seen in 2D, it can sometimes get lost in translation. But I can happily say that I really like how Jack looks here, and I absolutely love the detail on him. The portal stand, on the other hand, isn't quite as good, but I like it overall. Especially the separate locations on each ring of the portal, just like on the cover. The quality is a lot better than I thought it would be. I'd even go as far as saying it's actually pretty great. I'll be the first to admit, however, it's not perfect. It can only really be displayed at a certain angle or it kind of looks a little goofy. And there is a semi-noticeable seam line in the portal itself. Is this the best video game statue out there? No. Is it the best Samurai Jack statue out there? There is surprisingly a ton of amazingly beautiful yet absurdly expensive statues of Samurai Jack out there, so hell no. Is it everything I wanted out of it, and will it be a fine addition to my collection? Absolutely. 10 out of 10. Now, after all of that, one question still looms over us. Is this collector's edition worth it? Which I think is a very valid question to ask. Limited run games tend to rise in value given their limited nature. And because of that sense of urgency and that investment aspect, I feel like it's really easy to get tunnel vision and forget that you can purchase this very same game on most modern digital platforms for $40. Meaning that this collector's edition is essentially 3 times the price of the game itself. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. A lot of collector's editions actually cost a lot more, and a lot of them give you a lot worse stuff. But I still do think that this is an important thing to discuss, given that a lot of you out there might be weighing your options on this game right now. Especially given that right now you can find the very same collector's edition I just unboxed over on eBay for pretty close to retail if you look hard enough. And my final conclusions regarding that are that if you're not a big Samurai Jack fan, you probably won't enjoy it as much as I do. Yeah, no shit. If you're just looking to try the game out and you're not a huge Samurai Jack fan, I definitely recommend you go for the $40 digital version, or you can find the physical edition floating around on eBay for around $50. But on the other hand, if you are a big fan of Samurai Jack or you are sure as hell that you want this collector's edition, I have to say, for anywhere close to the $130 retail price, I think it's a steal. It might seem a little expensive, but given that the game goes for $40 on its own at the lowest, That leaves about $90 or so worth of value to be filled by the other items. If you imagine that each one of these items were priced at these retail prices, which I honestly think they'd probably be priced at, it's actually well worth it, at least in my humble opinion. If you do really want this thing, I definitely recommend you jump on it sometime soon, because I can imagine over the next few years, the supply over on eBay might start to dry up, and the prices might rise into some unreasonable territory. So act fast, my friends. Because trust me, you don't want to be the only kid at the lunch table without their Samurai Jack Battle Through Time Collector's Edition. I've been that kid and it is not fun. I want to thank you so much for watching this video. It truly means the most to me. As you could probably tell, I was super excited to finally unbox this thing and be able to share it with all of you. And I really hope that you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. I got a ton of awesome stuff on the horizon. And of course, don't forget to check out my backlog of videos if you're interested. I've made so many videos that I'm so proud of, and surely a few that you may have missed. But that's all for me for now. I hope you have an absolutely amazing day, and I'll see you in the next one.
I want some cheeseburgers just to eat. I'm talking ketchup, my nigga mustard on the beat. You gotta put a lot of lettuce, please, because I like to have a lot of grease. I remember eating outside with my whole team. Now a nigga gotta stay home cause of quarantine.